Hi everybody, Kat here. Welcome to the channel. It is Thursday morning and we've got a little mix for you today. We've got some royal news, we've got some Canadian news, and how it all kind of fits together. It was announced this week that King Charles will be coming to Canada for a few days at the end of May. Now let me find the exact dates. Good grief. May 20th to May 26th, the King and Camilla will be in Canada. He's going to be opening Parliament. That in itself is somewhat historic, because a monarch has only opened the Canadian Parliament a couple times before, and that was Queen Elizabeth. The first time she opened Parliament in Canada was in 1957, and the second time she opened Parliament was 1977. So that's quite a long time since a monarch has opened Parliament here. And so it's going to be King Charles opening Parliament coming up at the end of this month. Now that in itself is kind of interesting if you're following what's going on in Canada at all. Our Parliament has been prorogued for 9 months. When Justin Trudeau, the previous Prime Minister, stepped away from the role and eventually stepped down once the Liberals found a leader, and now we've had an election. I mean, I'm not going to go into the whole thing here. Certainly you can find all kinds of information, but let's just say this election was just as shady as the 2020 election in the States. I mean, even now, up on the news and media, Elections Canada is apologizing, like, oh gee, we forgot to count a whole bunch of these special ballots. Oopsie. You know, is it ever going to be resolved? The way they treated Max Bernier, head of the People's Party of Canada, the way they treated Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party, the fix was in. Let's just put it that way. I don't think there was anything legitimate about this election at all. And our new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, well, let's talk about him for a minute. If you're from the UK, you've heard that name before. Mark Carney has been a previous governor of the Bank of Canada, as well as a previous governor of the Bank of England, which gave him the nickname Carnage Carney. Now, this session of Parliament that the King's going to be opening, okay? Carney's now the Prime Minister there, but Parliament's going to be open for, I don't know, 3 weeks or something. Then they close down again for the summer recess. I mean, it's just ridiculous. We've gone almost a year with, the old saying goes, taxation without representation. We've had no sitting bloody government for almost a year. Charles is coming over to open this session, which is going to be just a very short session. Nothing meaningful. And as king of this country, obviously he's been watching what's been happening for the last decade. Think he might never step in and say, you know what, this level of corruption, you gotta. But, you know, Britain too, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and what you discover is these guys are all in the same club. They're all in the same club. The King knows Carney, because they've had reason to speak and reason to have meetings and everything while he was in Britain. So the king knows all about this guy. This guy, he's lived out of Canada for over a decade. He wasn't involved in politics at all, didn't hold a seat. He was installed by the Liberal government, and what you come to find out is that all the while Trudeau was, running his wrecking ball for a decade. Carney was his chief advisor behind the scenes. There's more than that. Carney and Trudeau are related by marriage. Yes, Trudeau's mother, Maggie Trudeau's new husband, is related to Carney's mother somehow. I don't know. They're cousins or something. I'm not sure. But it's there. You can find it. Not only that, Chrystia Freeland, who is just a lunatic and still part of the Carney cabinet, and you wonder why. Well, I'll tell you why. Chrystia Freeland's child Mark Carney, is the godfather to Chrystia Freeland's child. It's one big club. We're not in it. That's right. It's just stunning when you find all this stuff out. A little bit more about Carney. He's got a huge $1 billion company, Brookfield Asset Management, that recently has relocated to the United States so he doesn't have to pay exorbitant taxes. And this is the guy that is our new prime minister, and I'll tell you, he does not have a citizen-friendly agenda, and you can tell a lot about the guy just from an excerpt of his book. He's written a book called Values, and here's a little excerpt from it to let you know what you're in for, what we're in for here, Canada. Here we go, quote, "Western society is morally rotten, and it has been corrupted by capitalism. This requires rigid controls of personal freedoms, industry, and corporate funding. This is not a promise to make the lives of ordinary people better, but temporarily worse. This will be a world of severely constrained choice, less flying, less meat, more inconvenience, and temporarily more poverty. Assets will be stranded, gasoline cars will be unsellable, and inefficient properties will be unrentable." Unquote. This is the guy that's been installed. It's going to ruin the bloody country. But this is and people will say, oh, Agenda 2030, World Economic Forum, they want us to eat bugs and take away the cars and 15-minute cities, and you're all just a lunatic conspiracy theory. Not true. It's real. It's real. He wrote a book. This is what this guy believes in. This is what he wants to do to Canada. I mean, we're already so messed up with wokeness and DEI, and it's a madhouse. It's a madhouse here. I live in the most densely populated area of the country. A lot of crazy in the city, I tell you. Just one example. I have a friend whose granddaughter in school here in town, she's in junior high. I think she's maybe 14 or 15 or something. She's got a girl in her class who identifies as a cat. This is real. You've heard this stuff, but it's close to home when somebody you know is this girl in her class thinks she's a cat, and it's gone so far as the fact that her parents, who are, supportive, loopy, they're petitioning the school board because they want to have a litter box in the classroom for their daughter. And the school, it's a conundrum. But they feel like they gotta bend over backwards to accommodate the request, to accommodate the fact that this kid wants to be a cat. Well, I tell you, if I was the superintendent or the principal, I would just say to the parents, well, you know what? Cats don't go to school. School's for people. So unless she's a person, you might want to look into homeschooling, because we don't take cats. How insane is the world getting? This stuff is real. This stuff is real. Carney, getting back to just how crazy, well, during the campaign, and I know you've all heard about Trump derangement syndrome. That's another thing. That's real. And they've managed to convince a whole bunch of people up here that, Trump's a scary, dangerous man. And it's crazy. I have relatives that live in the States. I know what's really going on. These people are mad. And up here in Canada, it's just astounding. The other day, there was a press conference with Trump and Carney. It lasted, about 40 minutes. Trump spoke 37 minutes. Carney spoke just 3 minutes and 18 seconds or something. During the whole course of this presser, Trump is explaining just how things are going to be. Carney's just sitting there like this. A couple times he raises his hand like a kid in school he wants to speak. Trump just patted him on the knee, called him Mark, not even Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Carney, nothing, no respect, which is hilarious. And as far, a lot of the talk was about the tariffs, and of course there was the press there asking questions after Trump, spoke. And they asked him, well, is there anything that Mr. Carney could say or do that would remove the tariffs? And Trump just, no. And they followed up and they said, well, why not? And Trump said, that's just the way it is. We're not gonna, we're just not gonna be screwed over. The one big thing that the NAFTA agreement, and I think that was Mulroney, Prime Minister Mulroney, the free trade agreement between Mexico, America, and Canada, and in a lot of ways, it was almost like equalization payments kind of thing, and the U.S. was getting screwed and propping up 2 other weaker countries, and this is what's happened to the States for a very long time. You may not want to admit it, but it's true, and Trump is, for his credit and for his country, trying to fix that, He doesn't want to hurt Canada, but in the same time, he wants to provide some level of leadership and bring everybody into line. But when you've got a situation in Canada where a person like Carney and our previous 10 years of the Liberals that want to, well, and they have, restricted oil production, restricted all kinds of industry in Canada, put forth a woke agenda for climate change and electric cars, just bullshit. The whole climate change, net zero madness that's blanketed the world. Some of them are waking up. Europe's starting to wake up. Britain's starting to wake up a little bit. But Canada is just knee deep in, and I talk to people all the time. I was out yesterday. This interview with Carney was just bitch slapped by Trump. he was just made to look ridiculous. But yet the next day in the press, oh, Carney 1, Trump 0, the meeting was a success. I don't know what they were watching. I watched the same interview. People on social media, wow, Carney really showed Trump. I'm like, what the hell did you, how do you get that from what you saw? It's unbelievable. He was just trounced on. It was not a victory. And that's that whole Trump delusion thing. They just can't see it. It's just astounding. Just astounding. Like, we're just hooped here in Canada unless something happens. We need a miracle. I tell you. Because it's just getting, crazier every day. You can't make it up. We're living in the loonies are running the asylum. Okay. So climate change, carbon, and that whole carbon taxes, the whole shebang up here in Canada is just a nightmare. But yeah, take that for example. Well, first of all, Canada's boreal forest produces so much oxygen. First of all, it sucks up all the CO2. This is basic grade 6 biology. Trees suck in CO2 and they release oxygen. That's how our world works. That's how oxygen is. It's a constant cycle. What do they want to do? Oh, they want to block out the sun, but yet put solar panels everywhere. And they tell you that flat out, and it's like, oh yeah, good plan. Carbon's bad. Carbon is, without carbon you don't have life. But there you go, another scary truth. We are the carbon that they want to get rid of. That's true. And the king and Carney, and I'm starting to believe a little bit more and more because, just the way it's all coming together, Trump perhaps, they're all in one big club. They got one big agenda. And it's not to benefit us at all. That's what I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was insightful. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment, share this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.